5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions here.
Good morning, everybody. It's a good day. It's Tuesday, September 29th, and you're listening to another edition, day 2 of the morning show here at Paleocrat Diaries. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister. Pumped up, ready to go. I've got my cup of coffee. In fact, it's one of my favorite cups. I don't know if you can see that. It's a whole bunch of comic characters. So I got my caffeine going. Got all the stories lined up. And I was a little bit off yesterday. I was a little bit off because I wasn't entirely sure if or when the debates were going to happen. I keep up with a bunch of news, right? But I'm kind of realizing that some of the news sources I was going to, they really didn't care about the debates. And for good reason, okay? For good reason. I know that people will watch them. I might watch them, okay? Possibly. I'll report on it. So I probably should. But I'm a curmudgeon, okay? Anyone who's followed me for a long time knows I'm a curmudgeon, right? I don't like technocracy. And I don't like the impact, strange as it may be because I have a show like this, but I don't like the impact that TV and visual mediums have had on very serious discussion. And this is serious discussion. A lot of this is. And in fact, what we're going to talk about today, I actually got out a book, and this is kind of old school, right? In fact, there was a long time where I wasn't going to do anything to do with current events because current events tend to rile me up, as you know, as you are now aware. I get very, very cranky with some of these current events, and I was doing for a long time just stuff to do with books. I would take a book, I would take a chapter, and I'd go through it, and I would tell stories about family and everything else. And sometimes media. And there was a question that came up recently. And the question came up in the chat room, which, by the way, the chat room's up and going all over the place. So if you're watching on Facebook, or you're watching on Twitter, or you're watching on YouTube, or wherever you may be watching, no matter what channel you're on, there are all different channels all over the place. And the people watching those channels can comment, and it will all go into a feed. In fact, I'll just show you right now so that you can see. Okay, see that? Yeah, right down there. Good morning, D-Mac. Yeah. So, all right. So you can see there, and actually this is great because you can see Facebook and you can see YouTube is already cooking. It's already cooking right now. So if you're commenting on Facebook and you don't see other people, I'll try to keep that comment section up so that you'll be able to engage with those people. You'll have to watch the screen, though. Because you may end up being in a chat room and you're like, I'm not seeing these people. I'm not seeing the other people. Where are they? Well, they're all over the place. Because I'm all over the place. This show is literally all over the place. Which is why I got to figure out a way to kind of hone it in. And one of those things that I've decided to do, and I mentioned this yesterday, I kind of floated it out there and decided, yep, I'm doing it. No doubt. I'm definitely going this way. Is I'm going to be doing Monday through Friday. Because Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays, that's just weird, man. Like I was originally, my first idea was, well, maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then I realized how easy this was. And I said, well, how about Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Because people get that. If you say, oh, I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, that's understandable. But if you mix it up and you pull from Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you pull from Tuesday and Thursday, and you drop a Saturday in there, you're like, oh, I'm on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That's the dumbest sounding thing. I had a hard time remembering it. In fact, there's videos early on where I was saying Sunday. No Sunday show. No way. It's the Lord's Day. And so I talked to my manager, my boy, Jonathan. And I said, look, man, I said, I love doing the show. I love doing the mornings, right? Fully caffeinated, pedal to the metal, right out of the gate. Love that. I said, how about if we just do Monday through Friday? That way, it's never a question, oh, Jeremiah's on. Bam. It's just always there. Yeah. Sounds good to me. So that's what I decided to do. But somebody was talking in the comments about how, what's the plan? Because I have a tendency to focus on negative things that are deserving of ridicule, right? They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous things, and we'll talk about ridiculous things, and it's part of the medium. Okay, it's part of this. If I was like the PBS late night guy with, all black behind me, and you're wondering, am I in like a black hole or some void somewhere, and I'm wearing a turtleneck, and it's got that kind of world music drum beat playing, and this real artsy thing. This is Paleocrat Diaries. Nobody would watch. Nobody watches those things but me, right? Me and my buddies. We're watching that late at night. But other than that, people want to be entertained. And that's good. That's acceptable, right? Maybe ethically neutral to an extent, but there's a price tag with that. And one of the many, and in fact, I want to go through, not today, obviously, but as a plan. When talking about a plan, what to do, because that's the question. You're saying all of these negative things. You're saying all of these things that are super bad. Our world is in peril. Our civilization is burning in front of our eyes. Our religion is in shambles. What do we do? Well, I want to be part of that conversation. And more than that, I want you to be part of that conversation, right? More than just, I would feel that what this is a complete loss if all you guys did was just share the fat shaming memes, right? Like, I would be like, what am I doing? What am I doing right now? But if there's a plan, something that can make you and your family, your church and your neighbor and your country and your world better, even in small bits, little bits, hey, I'm down. So, a little bit later, we're going to talk about a chapter from this book. And I want you to remember this guy's name, Neil Postman. Neil Postman. This is one of the most important books, I believe, for our generation. That's why I wanted to start with it, because I have a bazillion books, man. I'm a bibliophile. My dream is to one day have this kind of library with a humidor where it's all, controlled inside, weather controlled inside, to maximize the amount of time that those books will survive and allow people to come in and just read the books. That would be a dream, right? I would love that. So I have all these books, and I thought, should I talk about social theory, cultural theory, religion? What do I talk about? And I said, because of this medium, because of what this is that you're watching and that I'm doing, I think, and because of the prominence that this has, visual mediums in modern day, in technocracies like our own, we need to talk about that. And I hate that phrase, we need to talk about it. In fact, I've kind of vowed, if I ever see a video that says, something like racism, let's talk about it, or whatever, that I said, I won't even watch it. I won't even watch it. But in this particular case, I really do believe, we need to talk about this. You're not going to want to miss it. Okay. So we got a whole bunch of great stuff for you. Whole bunch of great stuff. Again, we've got this, the comment room here. Let's go ahead and just pop that one up. I'll do this one first instead of the ticker at the bottom. I love that one. I love that one. In fact, I'll get that lined up right now. The news with the ticker. But yeah. All right, let's see here. I just found you, giving you a listen. Will Bishop, thank you very much for giving me a listen. I really appreciate it. And look, that's the best thing you guys can do. Not just to listen, but to share it. I got a really, really encouraging message yesterday. Okay, from somebody. Reached out to me on Facebook. You can find me, facebook.com/Jeremiah.Bannister. Really easy. I also have a Facebook page, Paleocrat. I don't do a whole bunch, though, to be honest. I mean, I post this and this broadcast there, so you can follow me there. But I got a message, and I use Messenger every day as an alternative email. I have many different ways people can communicate with me. But this person reached out, sent a friend request, and let me know after I accepted it. I thanked them, like I always do. I always thank people. And A lot of individuals have thought that's weird. You know, they have experiences with people who do shows like this. And I don't know what the idea is that they have in their head of the people who do this and what their lives are like, you know, and that we're just racing around in our private jets, swimming like Scrooge McDuck in a big pool of gold coins, you know. That might be what I do, you know, but the thing is that, you know, I try to reach out to people. If someone goes ahead and they reach out to me and they send a friend request, I'll talk to them and thank them. And also warn them that I don't post very often. I'm not like super active on it. But this person, you know, found my stuff, stumbled on it, and was really grateful to watch it. In fact, said that they were going to share the video with their family and their friends, and that they believe that the world needs more people and more voices like mine and what this show is. And things like that. Sharing it with friends, sharing it with family. I know I joke about turning it up, you know, when you're at work a little bit. You know, if you're on campus and you're listening to this show right now, just turn it up a little bit. You don't want to, you don't want to dominate it. I hate that. Going out to eat, you know, going out to eat and some dude, you know, you got the music playing, the muzak is playing, and there's some guy, normally a couple of them, and they have their phone and they prop it up on the napkin holder and start bumping some music. It's like, what are you doing? Now, if they're bumping my show, I might be like, that's pretty good. You're doing a good job, dude. You know, but that helps. So making sure to share, making sure to like, making sure to comment. Okay. Very grateful for all of that. Yeah. Will says, we make local militias and kick the evil out. Look, you got to do it. You got to do it. It's where we are right now. Right. Yeah. And, Mr. Petgrave has a great idea. Start a watch party if you can and share the stream. Yeah, man. Share a watch party. Yes. Yeah. And why do I have good manners? Oh, I was raised that way, brother. I was raised that way. So, okay, listen. We're getting right into it, okay? Because the goal here, I don't want to do this 2 hours a day thing. I don't mind doing that, but I think it's daunting. I think people look at it and they're like, dude, this guy's on fire for 2 hours. Like, oh my gosh. You know, it's like listening to death metal for 2 hours straight. I mean, you know, I can take that in spurts. You know, I can take that, this growling into the microphone kind of thing. I can deal with that for like, you know, 20 minutes. And after that, man, I start sweating. It's like that Chinese water torture after a while. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I can only imagine. You know, I can only imagine. This is real pedal to the metal stuff. Yeah, speaking of pedal to the metal, that's something Joe Biden is not doing very well at all. You're not doing it well, Mr. Biden. But it's the tonight is the day of the debates, and we're going to talk about that. But before we do, you know, I always like to start with something kind of a little bit fun. It's a morning show, right? I'm not the morning jockeys that sit there and Harley har all morning long. That's not me. But at the same time, you know, I believe we should have a good time. So I don't think that it's just simply, let's be really serious. Let's get really mad. And look, how can you get mad about this? Food lovers are desperate to try white Nutella. That might be a racist. Yeah, white Nutella. What's this about? The timing is wrong. After blogger shows off his jar. Man. A food reviewer took to social media to share a look at a jar of white Nutella a friend had given him, and now people are desperate to get their hands on some. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Isn't that like one of the most delicious looking things you've ever seen in your life? By the way, I'm not paid by them to say that. I genuinely love Nutella. And I've been doing the carnivore diet for what? I'm in almost at 30 days, I think. I would know. I know because there was my only hot mic moment of my entire life was within the first 36 hours of starting it. And I was telling my buddy, hot mic on this show, I think it was like episode 2 or episode 3, worked really hard on figuring it out. to make sure there was no problems like the first episode, because there were some things that I was still struggling with to figure out. And I had a hot mic on, and I was running late, and I called my buddy on the phone because he's like, "Are you okay?" The manager. "Yeah, man." I said, "Dude, my stomach is just a wreck. I had to go upstairs, bro. I had to go." And it's all on there, man. I took it off of mine. You can't find it on mine, but if you find that show anywhere else, it's there forever. I can't take that out. Right? But Nutella. Oh. I wouldn't be in ketosis anymore, that's for sure. Yeah, let's see here. If there's one thing I know to be true, it's that Nutella is a food of the gods. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, which one made that? Thor? Zeus? Who made that? Aphrodite. Yes, it really is that good. But you know what would make the chocolate hazelnut spread even better? If they made a white chocolate version. And that's exactly what they did. Apparently, a user known as Bruce Super Convenience, what a name, Bruce Super Convenience, shared a look at a jar of white Nutella on his page, and followers are in a frenzy. The caption of the post writing, "Let's just take a moment to look at this picture and appreciate this unicorn of a snack." Yeah, let's just do that one more time. One more time to start your day right there. Ugh. Bro, I need to get my hands on some. And white chocolate, that's my nickname. I got that playing ball with some guys, man. Because brother can hoop. Seriously, not even playing. Pretty good. All right. Second out of third. Right here. Parents accused of child abuse over water skiing 6-month-old son. Did any of you see this? And by the way, if you guys have crazy news, because we're going to get into the serious news. We're going to get into the serious news. Don't you worry about that. Okay? But here's the thing. If you've got some crazy news, make sure to send it to me. Okay? Paleocrat Diaries at gmail.com. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here. There we go. There we go. Rich Casey Humphreys beams from ear to ear as he cruises along the crystal clear waters of Lake Powell in Utah. But not everyone found the record-breaking Tot's antics so endearing. Look at this little guy. Look at that dude, man. And then look what he's doing. Oh my gosh, dude. Forever, man. Yeah, you're locked into history, little guy. Forever. Yeah. But apparently some people were very, very upset about this. Not everyone was delighted. Apparently he set a world record. I didn't even know. Whoever knew they had a world record for the youngest water skier? And do you have to hold on, or can you, like, duct tape their hands? I ain't going to do that, and don't you do that either. Oh, use Gorilla Tape. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, one person wrote, "Yes, you're an adventurous family, but this just isn't okay." People who talk like that, but this just isn't okay. You can hear it, can't you? When you read that, do you hear it too? So many things could have gone wrong. It's not cute just for likes. So dangerous and stupid. He looks scared and unsure. Look at his face. Does he look scared to you? Let's go back up here. Does that guy look scared and unsure to you? I don't think so. I think that little guy is thinking he's big pimping right now. He's like, I'm the greatest in the world. I mean, look at that. He's pumped. He's having the ride of his life. Oh. Last one. Last one before we get serious. Right, and get your coffee. You're going to need it. Because the world's on fire. We're going to talk about it. Okay? Watch. As this bear cub tries to get through glass door at Colorado home. There's a video of this. I want to figure out, and I got to work on this, how to figure out to do some of these videos where you can see and you can hear it. I'm nervous about copyright strikes, though. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. A Colorado woman captured video of a curious bear trying to force its way into her home through a glass door. Now, was it trying to force a way or trying to find a way? Because forcing a way sounds really, really scary. Like, it's like beating on the door, like, let me out. Let me in your house right now. Man, what would you do in that situation? Have you even prepared for it? My cousin Derek, over at the Facebook page Paleocrat, there is a video there. There's a number of really great exposés over there. And my cousin Derek, Dr. Derek, okay, Dr. Derek does there's a video of him and all of the medical advice he gives for preparing yourself for things like this. Or zombie attacks, that you might wake up and all of a sudden there's a bear by your, bed. What are you going to do? You have to be ready in the moment. How do you prepare for that? He's got a video. Paleocrat. Yeah. Charlene Bixler captured a video of the small cub swatting at the glass door of her home. See, swatting doesn't sound nearly as crazy as forcing. Yeah, either way, what would you do? What would you do with that? All right. So, done with the fun. I wish that could go on forever. Maybe one day I'll do a show where all it is just happy, good, fun times. That's all it's going to be. Just happy, happy, fun times. But all right, speaking of happy, fun times. Whoa, man, CNN, what? 6 things to look for in the first Biden-Trump presidential debate. One thing to look for is any signs that Biden is suffering from coronavirus. That's the first. They're pumping him full of hydroxychloroquine, which, by the way, everyone's talking about. Well, he doesn't want to take the drug test because he's afraid that they're going to know that he's on Adderall. Okay, and I don't judge anybody for being on Adderall. I'm prescribed it. All right, I mean, it's just true. Okay, but the thing is you say, when you're 77 years old, for crying out stinking loud, they're probably pumping him full of at least 60 milligrams of that stuff. At that point, I mean, you may as well just be freebasing some meth. King Kong in that bugger. That's why he's probably breathing heavily. But I've thrown out the idea that Corona Joe is seriously struggling. That's why he's so tired. Just look at his face. He looks tired. Even his smile is tired. His smile's like, do I have to? Do I have to do this right now? Yes, you do. It's pageantry, Joe. You know it. Yeah, but the thing is, he said he didn't want to take the drug test. Didn't want to take it. Not only because he's got performance-enhancing drugs, but also, I believe it's a good possibility that he's using hydroxychloroquine. If he's using hydroxychloroquine and they find out, well, guess what? Why am I on CNN? What is this? Why am I even here? It reminds me, all these little thumbnails remind me of why I don't go here. Oh, Navarro. Trump paid Stormy Daniels more than he paid in taxes. Blah, 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 blah. You racist piece of crap. Navarro is a racist. Navarro, you're a dirty, rotten racist, a scumbag. Man, I need to vow not to come back here. I hate your site, CNN. The only time I like hearing about CNN is when Mark Dice does a video about their comedic genius. He did it yesterday. If you don't know Mark Dice, man, you gotta know him. Donald Trump could face the most direct challenge of his presidency to his handling of the coronavirus pandemic, the economy, and his personal conduct in his first debate against Democratic nominee Joe Biden. Look at how they framed that. They could have framed it, Joe Biden could face the most direct challenge to his cover-up, right, of his inability to communicate in real time, thinking on his feet. Why not? Oh, because that's rude. That's rude. No, man, it's been on full display. Homeboy can't think. He's struggling so bad, forgetting things mid-sentence. Like I said in an old video, I said, look, I know what that's like. I've smoked weed. Okay, I've dabbed it up, bonging it up with dabs. I've done that. I've been in that place, in that state of mind where you're really into something, your brain's kind of floating around, and then you like stop mid-sentence and the panic starts going up. Anxiety, lizard brain is just, adrenaline pumping. Dude, I forgot what I was like talking about. Yeah, been there. You're either high or you're Joe Biden. That's just it. You're either high or you're Joe Biden. That's the way this goes. You're high or you're Corona Joe. Dancing with the Rona. Trump and Biden meet tonight in Cleveland for their first of 3 debates. A socially distanced affair. Doesn't that just sound totally dumb, by the way? Doesn't that sound really stupid? Well, you have to, because if Corona Joe does in fact, if he does in fact have coronavirus, which he refuses to get tested for, if he does, dude, keep the president away from that guy. They're both old, you know what I'm saying? They fit the demo. Oh, and they won't shake hands. That's symbolic enough. Oh, Fox News host Chris Wallace is the moderator. Chris Wallace is a deep state shill. That guy's the worst. He's as predictable as the morning sun. And this is what makes it bad. He's as predictable as Sean Hannity. And sorry for all of you who love Sean Hannity. I like him. He played a big role in my life. But the guy's as predictable as, Chris Wallace. So, and Chris Cuomo. The audience at about 70 will be limited compared with previous debates. Obviously, I guess, right? And everyone attending the event will undergo testing for COVID-19. I'm curious to know if that includes Joe Biden, because Joe Biden has said that he has not been tested. I wonder if they're going to make that one exception. And I wonder why. The topics for the debate are, quote, the Trump and Biden records, the Supreme Court, COVID-19, the economy, race and violence in our cities, and the integrity of the election. You know what? All of these, I know conservative dudes and traddy type dudes, man, who don't like that and say, oh, this is meant to help, right? I saw one guy say, well, they're not bringing up China and Israel. Who cares, man? To be honest. If you put China and Israel in that list right there, I'm sorry to tell you, but it will be very low. In fact, these might be the top concerns right now. Minus the Trump and Biden records. To be honest, that's almost like, I know they put that first, but the truth is not for the debate. No way. Not for the debate. It's more, because TV is, like we're going to talk about in this book, because TV and these debates are not so much focused on the past, because the medium itself is a present-oriented medium. Just what it is, pageantry. And there's a place for that. That's why I don't agree entirely with Neil Postman. He's one of my favorite of all time. Probably him and Marshall McLuhan, as media theorists, have had a bigger influence on me than anybody else in the world when it comes to media. But I don't agree with Postman on everything, especially when it comes to the significance or the role of television, even for debates for the masses. We have our disagreements. Each segment will last about 15 minutes, and the candidates will have 2 minutes to respond after the moderator opens each segment with a question. We're gonna and you'll love this, because remember the things that are in this right here, right? That they're talking about, how long people have, and everything else. Because we're gonna talk about it when we talk in this book. Trump and his campaign spent months, and this is Biden's low bar. Look at how they tuck this in there, and it's a low bar for themselves too. You know, if Joe Biden makes it through the night, if he simply makes it through the night, it doesn't matter how badly he does. It's going to be like the greatest thing that's ever happened. Oh, he really showed Trump on every mainstream news channel. He's going to show him. I mean, did you see it? Did you see how he stuttered and stammered all over the place and forgot what he was thinking and was breathing heavily? Did you see it? They've all subscribed to that Wimplo art of winning. And if you don't know what that is, it's Kung Pao, man. This dude's getting his face kicked in by the chosen one. And he's like believing that he's winning. And the chosen one's like, what are you talking about? And he says, yeah, this is my face to your fist style. What? But they've all bought into it. They're idiots, man. They've all bought into it. Trump and his campaign spent months and millions of advertising dollars casting Biden as senile, seizing on every verbal stumble, often with misleading or out of context videos. Look at what they're doing. Number one, when they say seizing on every stumble. Yes, man, it's a gaffe. If you say that you were in the Senate 180 years ago, or that millions of people have died of coronavirus, or what was it? He said his sister was his wife. Well, I mean, there's so many of these weird little things that he does. Oh, and misleading or out of context videos. Let's rephrase that. Memes. Remember, CNN is in a lawsuit right now against Carpe Diem about the video where the little black kid is running and there's a little white kid running behind him and it says CNN on the bottom. Obviously not, by the way. And it's talking about a racist kid, but then it shows the actual video and they're like playing and hugging and stuff. CNN is suing them. Suing Carpe Diem over that. These people are, and it's a frivolous lawsuit. Frivolous. Out of context videos. See, they say the same thing. And look, what's his name, man? Oh, reliable sources guy. What's that guy's name? I can't believe I'm forgetting it. No, Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter. Little Brian Stelter. Yeah, man. Yeah, Brian Stelter, he's done a segment on Donald Trump's spelling errors on Twitter. And yet here they are. He's seizing on every verbal stumble. They get mad when Mark Dice does the videos of Brian Stelter with the little Brian Stelter voice. When he does that, he's like, that's a highly edited video. Well, obviously, man. Dude, you people. What's wrong with you? In an effort to plant doubt in voters' minds, this is just written by a Democratic operative. I mean, this isn't even news. It's just opinion. In an effort to plant doubt in voters' minds that the 77-year-old former vice president is up for the job, while falsely suggesting that Biden was trying to duck the debates. What are you to expect? He's ducking campaigning, man. He's barely even getting out of bed. What do you say? Oh, no, he's not. Well, then tell us what your answer is. Why is it that he's having a hard time rolling out of bed for the day and staying awake? What's up with that? And if you say, oh, no, he is awake. Oh, how do you know this? He's not in the public eye. Donald Trump is doing multiple campaign stops every day, traveling all over, doing his presidential duties and responsibilities. It's not even close. It really is a joke. I don't know anybody personally, and I assume these people are out there. I assume they are. That they're out there that really love Joe. And are like, Joe Biden's number one. And that they're like, oh no, I can go on and on about how great Joe Biden is. There's like 5 of those people. And the thing is, Democrats know that's actually not a good place to be. When you are supporting a candidate, and what's your reason for it? Well, I don't like the other guy. Yeah, Brian says, if they make an exception for old Joe, would that not prove he's hiding something? Dude, yes. If Joe Biden does not take a test, if he does not take a test, it's over. Corona Joe is on, dude. That's it. Hashtag that bad boy all over the place. Corona Joe. Very true. The MSM is going to spin it as Biden was a great debater. It will be if you stay awake. They will too. Low expectations. Yeah, low expectation. For those following the lens, following the race through the lens of right-wing media, even an adequate performance by Biden could be stunning. No. It depends on what you mean by adequate. I mean, people aren't necessarily thinking he's entirely unable to do anything. Right? He's probably thinking a lot laying down in bed. I mean, I'm not saying that he's laying down in a comatose state, not knowing what's going on with everybody around going, we're trying everything we can do. Stat, beep, beep, all the machines going off. Not saying that. Not saying that he's like, what, the Godfather on the deathbed, where his mom went, and people are trying to transcribe, he needs more hydroxychloroquine, stat. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's very sleepy. And that he struggles, that he is a 77-year-old man, probably with, some kind of an early onset mental thing happening here, where he's mixing up events and times, and even struggling to see. Maybe he should be wearing glasses more regularly. But that would make him look really grandpa-like. And you can see that they were trying so hard to get him away from that. They didn't want him to be the sweater-wearing grandfather. You know what I mean? Like the sweaters that the grandkids make. They got kittens and stuff on it. Or is that grandmother's? Dude, I know there's going to be like grandfathers watching this that are like, dude, I've never worn that, Jeremiah. Never. That's my wife. But they were trying to get away from that because they had him in what, man? What was he driving around in? Was it a Viper? What kind of car was that? A Corvette? And he was driving up, listening to 80s music, collars flipped. Hey, what's up, guys? Hello, fellow kids. They can't get away from it. And in the eyes of the older independent and suburban voters, whose polls show have shifted away from Trump, Biden could benefit from the low bar. Wow, man, that's some ageistic crap, man. Like, for old people, they might sit there and go, "Hey, he did okay." That's all we expect. Just drag yourself across the finish line. Oh. That's why he needs one of those little scooters, man. Metaphorically, that's why he's on those performance enhancing drugs. It's like one of those rascals you see on TV. It's like a mental rascal. It doesn't mean there's not hiccups, the joysticky thing, There can be issues. Ah, yes. Annette Conrad. By the way, Annette Conrad is my mom. In the comment section, let's go ahead and put it over there. Just, I don't know the last time that my mom has ever tuned in for a live show. Don't know. We're having fun, Mom. Your boy's trying to make you proud. Trying, okay? So here's the thing, though, right? Because we can have fun at Biden's expense, okay? We can have fun at this, right? They're talking about fact checkers. And I'll say, we'll finish up this, and then we got to talk about this book. Because it will make sense of this. Because I don't want people, I want people on the one hand to say, okay, let's watch this debate. On the other hand, we as consumers and as people aspiring to be intelligent and trying to adequately understand what's going on with the world, if we're basing what we think these people believe or how good they're going to be off of debates, then we've got everything bass-ackwards. Okay? That's just the truth. And in fact, we're doing great harm to ourselves. Even in a negative sense. I mean, somebody like Biden could be on a rascal, right? One of those little Scooty McScoot mechanisms, the little, wheeling himself around. And still maybe You know, if he was somebody different with different ideas, somebody maybe like Trump, he would have really good ideas and he would be really good. Or it could be somebody who presents themselves in a way that is really appealing, right? Or that makes you say, oh man, that guy's attractive. Or, oh my gosh, that guy's really tall. And if people think that is a ridiculous statement, for one, you guys just don't understand how optics work. It's as old as the story of King Saul. It's as old as the story of King Saul. Trump has been a boon to the fact-checking industry, but on Tuesday night it remains an open question who will be fact-checking any falsehoods uttered on stage. And you know what's funny? Because they don't even talk about, and again, this is just a Democratic operative. This is why, look, if you're a Democrat, I understand why you go to CNN. Anybody else, the only reason to go there is if you would like to have your hair on fire. If you would like to have blood pressure through the roof, you know, go to CNN. That's where to go. That's where to go. Other than that, unreliable, man. These people are, it's all skewed. And what makes it worse, what makes this whole thing worse, is that it's a facade. Because they're presenting themselves, I mean, look, who will fact check? Listen, fact checking is a key component of any debate. Because those who are watching might have only the information presented in the moment. Well, wouldn't there be an infinite regress of fact checkers? Where are the fact checkers that are going into the conversations happening on these sites? And like the Art of the Meme says in the comments, you can't trust the fact checkers. They sit on Facebook checking opinion. Yeah. That's why exactly. It's why they fact check satire. Yeah, they fact check jokes. This is not true. And think of how elitist that is. For them to sit there and say, we need to fact check something that's just obviously not true. Something that's obviously fake. We need to fact check that. I mean, okay, maybe for the super tiny amount of people on the planet who might see something like LeBron James wearing a doily in honor of Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Babylon Bee and go, that's awesome. Yeah, okay. And look, hey, those people probably watch CNN. But they won't even think about that. They won't even factor that in. It's terrible. Yeah, they're just not sure about the fact checking thing. Yeah. I'm not sure about CNN. No, I am sure. I am sure about CNN. So here's the thing. So this book, okay? We're going to talk about this. And look, you know, this is maybe morning show suicide. You know, sitting there having fun with Joe Biden, talking about Corona Joe and everything like that. You know, that makes for good morning show stuff, right? People enjoy that. They're having fun. It's a light way to start your morning. And then you go, and we're going to talk about a book. We're going to open it up here. I need one of those bubble pipes, you know? Sit there and smoke a bubble pipe. But remember the conversation we just had. Okay, in fact, I'll go ahead and let's put this right back up. Hold on. Look at oh, no, don't want that. News and comments. There. Let's go back up here. Here we go. Each segment will last about 15 minutes, and the candidates will have 2 minutes to respond after the moderator opens each segment with the question. And by the way, when they say each segment will last 15 minutes, I'm not anticipating 15 minutes straight. Like formal debates. I don't know if you guys have gone to formal debates, okay? They can be kind of boring. I enjoy them, but I can imagine why a lot of people would be like, really? This is like really highly formatted. And you'd say, yes, actually it is, believe it or not, okay? But the idea is you have an opening statement. And then another person would have their statement. Then you have like rebuttals, right? You go back and forth. Then you have question and answer. So it has a format, and you can play around, tinker with it. You can add time, right? Like the what was it, man? The debate that took place with Lincoln Douglas. How long were those? I had heard somewhere, in fact, it may have been in one of these books, that particular debate lasted over 10 hours. Something like that. And that people actually, it was an intermission where you could go home and eat and then come back. And they were flooded. They're packed out with people. Packed out. But the book says, talking about presidential elections, candidates given 5 minutes to address questions. Things like this. What would be your policy in Central America? Okay. How about, what would you do with a pandemic? How would we deal with the pandemic? Things like, what should we do to an economy that's falling apart? How can we make sure that money doesn't just get focused with the big banks, which, by the way, the big banks and big tech have benefited. This has been a boon for them while destroying Main Street. If you've ever lived through a time where Main Street versus Wall Street has been pronounced, this is it, right now. And Joe Biden, the news came in yesterday. All the big banks support Joe Biden. Ain't that a thing? Ain't that a thing? But when you do this, when you have these segments and these rebuttals that are so short, when you have that, it says right here, complexity, circumstances, documentation, and logic can play no role. It doesn't matter. People are less concerned about giving arguments than with giving off impressions, which is what television does best. He says that afterward, you'll have debates, after these debates, that they're kind of treated like boxing matches. And the questions are, who KO'd whom? Tomorrow, after the debate, or just right after the debate, as soon as it's done, go online and see how many news stories use terms like a knockout, destroyed, and what their reasons for that was. What they were. The answer is determined by the style of the men. I mean, we've even talked about it here. Being able to present yourself, even adequately. If Joe Biden isn't breathing heavily. If he gets out of bed. How they look, how they fix their gaze, how they smiled, how they delivered one-liners. Because the truth is, if we're honest about it, this medium, television, it's not about persuasion. It's not. Especially when it's commercially formatted. There's a great, in fact, it's with the intro of this book. Or it's the intro of a different one, how to watch TV news. Basically, Neil Postman, let me see here. Neil Postman is in an interview. And as he's in this interview, he's talking, let me see here. It'd be worth just seeing it, making sure that I've got it. Here we go. Postman in 1986 was on ABC's Nightline discussing with Ted Koppel, okay, we remember that guy, the effect TV can have on society if we let it control us, rather than vice versa. To illustrate his point that our brief attention span and our appetite for feel-good content can short-circuit any meaningful discourse, Postman said, quote, for example, Ted, we're having an important discussion about the culture, but in 30 seconds, we'll have to break for a commercial to sell cars and toothpaste. Mr. Koppel, one of the rare serious figures on network television, smiled wryly, or was it fatigue? Quote, actually, Dr. Postman, it's more like 10 seconds. Yeah. And think, it's not just the limit on time. We're talking these serious things. And what's going to happen? Okay, sir, we need to slow it down. And they're gonna talk over each other. They're going to do that. Right? But it's par for the course. That's why I'm not even too critical, per se. If it was happening in a real debate in real time in front of, if it wasn't televised. But because it's televised, it plays to a certain standard. It affects how I do what I do here. Like I said earlier, I'm starting out with funny memes. Bears, swiping on people's doors trying to get their white chocolate Nutella, And so I'm sitting here, trying to balance the idea of entertainment and enlightenment, enjoyment and instruction. But you don't do that when you've got a time limit and your very serious deep state moderator is going to go, okay, hold on, guys. We've got to go to a break. We'll be back right after this. And there's music. Do-do, 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 do-do. And then the next thing it shows is a commercial for toothpaste. The next thing it shows is some Viagra commercial. And that there's no connection whatsoever. There's no logic to it. It's just a billboard. Okay, everybody, now turn your attention toward the billboard with musical backdrop. There are all these parables about how your breath smells bad, and if you really want that hot chick over there, use this toothpaste. And by the end, you've got the hot chick. The thing is, and this is instructive, is that the debate that you'll see tonight, that debate is essentially a commercial. Almost all of TV is. And people can say, well, a commercial proper, right? What we call a commercial, I'd almost say, let's call it an advert, right? If we want to preserve the idea of what we think of commercial, which is, if we can make the distinction, if we can try, even for the mere sake of function, to say the station needs money to survive. They get their money, they're putting out money by making a product, right? But ultimately, the way they get the money is by commercials. So the product essentially is to make the money. Your really good show, which is why Tucker Carlson, they tried to take him down. They've tried going after advertisers, and they're like, I'm sorry, he's literally the most popular TV personality in history. What are you going to do? And the truth is, it all goes back. Ronald Reagan, he put it great in 1966. He said right here, he said, politics is just like show business. And to be fair, that's one of the reasons Donald Trump is good at it. It's one of the reasons he's good. It's one of the reasons why CNN and other groups absolutely loathe the fact that he puts on press conferences so often. It lacks virtues that we would, in the past, we'd at least say we would hope that politics would have certain virtues, things like clarity, honesty, and excellence. Not now. And people can say, why? And at the core of this is that mediums matter. The way that we consume politics, the primary means by which we consume politics is visual. And not just visual, but active. You're watching my show right now. The difference is this show, I go on for quite a while. I don't limit myself to this. It has a coherency to it that says, all right, we're going to talk about a specific set of topics, but with the exception, of course, of the funny stuff that's part of the theme of what we're doing anyway. Not to sell stuff, but to never give up and keep on smiling. To know your enemy and to remember death. Those are thematic for this show. So there's a coherency to it. You don't have that with television. You don't have it. In fact, it's psychotic. If you think about it, if you were to rack up all the different kinds of commercials and what they're peddling, and then you figure out what topics are being talked about, and you just blend those in all together in one big list. Yeah. It's like diarrhea. It just is. In America, the fundamental metaphor for political discourse is the television commercial. Yeah. Totally. Totally. And it says the commercial has been the chief instrument in creating the modern methods of presenting political ideas. And I love this. It's not so much, listen to this, right here, that these people don't really tell as much about the products that they're selling. So tonight, for example, they may list off certain policies and they may give some details about it, but you're not going to get a super detailed thing about it. They'll tell you, go to my website to learn more. That's what they're going to tell you. But they're going to frame it in a way that satisfies what he's talking about here. What the advertiser, or in this case, the politician, needs to know is not what is right about the product, but what's wrong about the buyer. Which is why they tether in all the time these phony stories. I met somebody in Winnebago. Her name was Jane. Yeah. Her name was Sally Q. And Sally Q, she told me all this stuff about how terrible her life was and how I needed to keep on going. And they use this over and over and over. Because ultimately it's a parable. What's wrong with people? How can they fill your void? That's what it is, man. And this is the other thing. This is the last thing I'll say about it. In a world of television, and other visual media, which would include what you're doing right now, in fact, political knowledge means having pictures in your head more than having words. It's the prominence of memes, by the way. This guy wrote this. This is old. He's been dead for a while. It's prophetic. Prophetic. It put forward a psychological theory of unique axioms. The commercial asks us to believe that all problems are solvable. And they are solvable fast. And that they are solvable fast through the interventions of technology, techniques, and chemistry. It's a preposterous theory about the roots of discontent. Yeah. But it'll get you to buy it. Unsatisfied. But it's why it's all about posture. It's why Jeb Bush had to get on his tippy toes to be a little bit itsy taller than Trump. Little bit itsy taller. And this is how it works. And this is especially because, look, the optics otherwise are really bad. So in this case, Joe Biden's going to need a lot of help. Because the optics where people are getting their information, it's always bad. For example, it looks like only 5 people were listening to Jill Biden speak in Wisconsin. And 1 is holding her umbrella. And see how the media does it? They get the picture frame. There was a great image of this back in 2016 where Hillary walks out and there's all these people waving, yay! And it makes it look, man, like there's just all these people super duper pumped up. The truth was the media is all in the back. And there's a picture from the back that shows like 3/4 of the auditorium is empty. It looks stupid. It's like the kind of party that you hear, there's going to be a big party and you go and you're kind of like, ooh, did you forget to mail out invitations? What's going on? Or like the movie Fred. Like the movie Fred. That guy with the really, really annoying voice. Who since, I guess, has turned out to be just ragingly gay, right? We don't let our kids watch anything he does anymore because it's really bad. He's gone south. It's really unfortunate, you know. But the thing is his movies are hilarious. And in the movie, he's trying to be popular. So what does he do? He creates with his neighbor, the girl from iCarly, he creates this party. And it looks really cool. And they take video of it and they share it. And all of a sudden, all the kids at the school think he's awesome. And they all want to go to this party all of a sudden. Or like Home Alone, where the bad guys are trying to get in. Little Macaulay Culkin. That little guy, right? Makes those fake people. And he's dancing around with the strings and it's moving everything. And there's music and all the lights are on. And the bad guys are going, man, we better not go in there tonight. Better wait till tomorrow, Harry. It's the same thing with this. It's how it works. And she's just, yeah. Joe Biden called a lid today to rest up for his debate Tuesday. To rest up for his debate Tuesday night against President Trump. Who wrote this one? Jim Hoft. Man. If Joe Biden's 11th, it was Joe Biden's 11th lid day this month, meaning he wasn't doing anything. He's called it quits for the day. On Monday, Jill Biden continued her campaign for First Lady with a stop in Madison. And it just looked terrible. Yeah, there's like 4 to 5 people. Look at this. Holy cow. And look at all those signs on the side of that building. And look at the lady close to the camera over here looking over to her side. She's wondering, are there more people coming, I wonder? Maybe they're just late. They got the wrong time. Yeah. All of a sudden, there's going to be like a bunch. And nobody knows if these people are just walking down the road. I mean, they're not sitting down or anything. They're standing up back there. They're thinking maybe they'll, should we go in? Should we signify that we're part of this? I mean, obviously, we live in an area that hates Joe Biden. Oh. So they have to. He has to have good optics today. He has to do the pageantry. And that's why, and look, that is ultimately why the people on the left have been basically signaling to him smoke signals like crazy, saying, dude, don't do this. Because ultimately, this is all about the pageantry. This is about the optics. This is about, does he look sleepy? Does he look inspiring? Does he look like he's memorized answers? It's why Marco Rubio looked so stupid debating where Chris Christie called him out in real time because he had memorized questions and he'd practiced the pageantry, which he wouldn't have gotten away with. It's like the Scooby-Doo thing, and I would have gotten away with it too. If it wasn't for those meddling governors. So Biden's struggling. And of course, like I said, he's not agreeing to any kind of drug test. Here's optics again. This is all an optic war. It's not purely, if we treat optics as information, then it's an info war that we're in. If we don't, I think we should. So it's fair to call it an info war, but focus on this. It's an optic war. You have situations, Kamala Harris mistakenly refers to deceased rapper, the Notorious B.I.G. when talking about RBG during speech. She just sounds really unintelligent, and it's a cringeworthy moment. Those things matter in a world of pageantry. All right. Actually, you know what? Let's see here. Yeah. And this is especially important, not just because the optics are bad, but because the Stop the Steal campaign is succeeding. And they're falling apart. The steal is falling apart. Look at it. Report, New York City voters wrongly receive mail-in ballots labeled for military use. Rick Scott introduces bill requiring mail-in ballots be counted within 24 hours of election. Trump campaign, GOP sued to block North Carolina's new mail-in ballot rules. Stop the steal. Minneapolis Police Department looking into allegations. And did you see this? Project Veritas. Over voter fraud. Ilhan Omar. You know what? She's a real creep. Real creep. Did she marry her brother? That old scandal, man, I'll tell you, you want to go down a rabbit trail. Yeah. Check it out. That lady right there, totally with her brother. Then ends up getting married, right, to a different person. Brother disappears. I think he's in England now, right? And then she ends up having an affair and marrying the guy she had an affair with. Just a real loser. And here's the thing. What makes me mad, and this really bothers me, it's kind of like, I was talking to my buddy Chad. We co-host Paleo Cheese together. And we were talking last night about a song that my buddies, my friend wrote and played and recorded, that afterward, after they had done that song was used by the Newsboys. No money. No, they got recognition in the thank you. What right below, right between what? The cable company providing them with cables. The guitar string manufacturer that gives them strings. Oh, and then this band. Why? Oh, because the band wrote the song that we completely stole for all intents and purposes. And it's not even close. For those, I know a lot of people listening to the show, they might like the Newsboys. I know too much about the Christian music industry to do that. No offense. They might be otherwise. Not, no. No. There's a lot going on there. Okay. But the idea is that someone could be involved in a scheme like that. And this happens probably all the time. But if you're somebody out there virtue signaling, you're out there in this sense, the evangellyfish virtue signaling, and that's what you're doing. You've established your brand as Jesus land, and you go ahead and you rob the daylights out of talented young kids. I'm going to be mad about that. Same thing with this. Look at her, man. She's wearing the head covering. She's modest, or just afraid that she's going to get stoned to death. Beat up by one of her people in her community. But let's just say she's doing it because she genuinely is trying to be modest. Dude, was she wearing that, having an affair? Was she wearing that when she's boning her? I'm sorry, maybe she wasn't with her brother in that sense. But it was fraud, man. Oh, but I was modest. It's like people, I see this too, man, and I don't mean to dog people in the trad community. I'm part of it. But man, when I see ladies in the trad community and they're wearing the head coverings and they're taking selfies 24/7, making it look like they're not taking selfies. And where they've got their rosaries hand up and looking all, dramatic and magical and stuff. All mystical. That's like the trad version of the picture where it's just up a little bit and you can kind of, It's like trad porn. But she's embroiled in something right now. Minneapolis Police Department, or what's left of it, announced Monday evening they're looking into allegations of voter fraud and illegal ballot harvesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Republicans officially asked Supreme Court to halt mail-in voting extension in Pennsylvania. Hashtag stop the steal. Was that hashtag, was it Ali Alexander? Was he the one? Because he was dealing with he was in a big huge debate, which I got kind of, I don't know where I stand on this, okay? But at least the core claims of ShadowNet and I watched the documentary, right? So core claims about it, but he just full stop. He was good, it was going to be supposedly with legal issues and everything, and there's going to be lawsuits, and it just seems anyway that it kind of stopped just suddenly, whether good or bad. Maybe that's a better thing, but he had more urgent things, obviously, like stopping the steal. So I'm a big supporter of him, by the way, but I like Millie Weaver too. Not really a fan of Tory. If you don't know those people, it's you need to know Ali Alexander, and you need to know Millie Weaver. Tory, not so much. Not so much. So, yeah. In another huge win, judge strikes down Democratic plan to eliminate signature matching in Ohio. So as you can see, one story after another story after another story. Yeah, Joe Biden's Texas political director, Dallas Jones, really? That's his name? Accused of illegal ballot harvesting. Just bad, man. Just bad. And that's hard because now they're up against these optics, man. President Trump nominated for the third Nobel Peace Prize, and this time for the Trump Doctrine. It's tough. So Joe's got to do good, man. He's got to do good, or he's in big trouble. Yeah. Seventh Circuit overturns Obama judge ruling that extends Wisconsin's election by a week. Once again, over and over and over. It just looks bad for them. It just looks bad for them. Speaking of stuff looking bad, here's this. Let's see here. Yeah, no, we won't worry about it. Okay, last two stories. Moving on. Poll. Support for Black Lives Matter protests has plummeted after summer of riots and crime. Americans are turning on the riot movement. Richard Moorhead over at bigleaguepolitics.com. New polling from AP and the University of Chicago indicates that support has sharply declined. Imagine that. Imagine that. For the protest movement, with 15% less Americans supporting the movement now than they did in June 2020. I would love to go back, because I'm not on Facebook too often, because every time I get on there, I end up being like just flustered by it. And seeing people that really shouldn't be talking about politics and culture. They don't know jack. Okay? They don't know jack about it. They're just knee-jerk reactionists, hobby horse enthusiasts, Monday night quarterback and everything, and just completely reactive, emotive. They're just emotive reaction people. Chatty Cathy dolls, right? Like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, John Candy. Miss that guy. But the thing is that people after time and beginning to learn more things about it, and they go, oh my gosh, George Floyd was on all those drugs? George Floyd, the video, why didn't he get in the cop car? Why was he saying he couldn't breathe way early? Was Blake really at a place he shouldn't be with a restraining order against him? Was Breonna Taylor really sleeping? Was Michael Brown really hands up, don't shoot? Was anything about the Trayvon Martin situation even true? A documentary about that. It's a joke. It's a complete joke. And it's weird because people, not only do they have this really messed up sense of guilt right now, and these social pressures all the time, because they have completely abandoned themselves uncritically to digital mediums, especially big tech, and the kind of subtle influence that they don't even realize is happening. And once they do, it's had such a dramatic impact on their lives, and it's been so vast of an impact that the idea of regaining it is done. But these people, I'd love to go back and see the ones that were like, you're saying all lives matter. How dare you, you Nazi person? Oh, because Hitler was all about all lives matter. Don't you know? Haven't you read Mein Kampf? Isn't that what it means? All lives matter. But it's gone down big time. You got to read this. It's amazing to see. And it's like, I guess what I'd love to see more than just simply a number, a statistic that says this many people said that they believed it. Now there's this many people who say that they believe it. What I'm interested in would be to see individuals talking about it that in the past were really, really rigorous. We're bashing people who disagreed with them, who over time just maybe didn't even say that they changed their mind, but just in a very subtle way, just kind of stopped talking about it. I'd love to talk to those people and say, take a knee. Repent, son. Repent. Ask forgiveness, because you literally said that believing in red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight, is Hitlerian. Take a knee, man. Get down. Man. It drives me nuts. And what makes me mad is that I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen where they change their mind and they just stop talking about it. All of a sudden, it's kind of weird, man. You ain't out there sharing all those BLM things. Why'd you take the little fist off of your profile? It's still around. They're still burning down towns. It's weird because you used to defend, like the Sunrise Movement. We're going to talk way more about that. There's a great trailer, Millie Weaver, you got to check that out. Unbelievable. Long trailer, too. I think it's like 8 minutes long. The Sunrise Movement. That's straight up insurrection stuff, man. That's like terrorist-styled stuff. Beware of them. But these individuals, when George Floyd happened and the emotions were really high and nobody wanted to be called a racist for disagreeing with an organization that wants to tear down the family. Marxist crazy people, witches, satanic witchcraft. Oh, I don't want to offend that. I don't want to offend the voodoo princess, the voodoo queen. They're all queens, drama queens. And what happens? Oh, all of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, it's not just my creepy Uncle Joe at the Thanksgiving dinner table who doesn't agree. There's really smart, well-intentioned, well-meaning people. And they start to realize, too, maybe this is true, that they start to realize, oh my gosh, I need to say that I've been a racist my whole life. And they can say that. Maybe they've got friends that care about them that go, dude, when did you do anything racist? And they have to try in real time to think about, like, well, I didn't do anything, but I was born white. And their friends kind of look at them and they're like, but dude, you actually really care about people of other races. You were a missionary and stuff. Maybe I was a colonizer. Really, dude? When you were over there and you were thanking God for how he worked in your life? Maybe. You're going to believe that guy over there? You're going to believe Lady Witchcraft over there? You're going to believe that about you? Maybe those people talk to them. Maybe those people talk to him. Last story. And then some memes. We won't take long because we're running out of time. Because I'm not going to, as I said, I don't want to do 2 hours. Don't want to do it. Not when I'm doing 5 days a week, guys. So look, I'll be back tomorrow again. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But here's the thing. Public Discourse. The Journal of the Witherspoon Institute. Correction, transgender surgery provides no mental health benefit. The American Journal of Psychiatry has issued a major correction to a recent study. The Bronstrom study reanalysis demonstrated that neither gender-affirming hormone treatment nor gender-affirming surgery reduced the need of transgender-identifying people for mental health services. What that means is you'll hear a lot of times, people can bring up, look, there's obviously mental health issues in the transgender community. I mean, it's just true. And anyone being honest about it would admit that, I think. Right? Even most of the tranny activists and stuff would say, yeah, that's actually true. But they would say the reason why is because we haven't gotten, for example, gender-affirming hormone treatment, where we get hormones that begin to make us look and feel like we are the gender in the video game and the brain thing. or gender-affirming surgery, quote unquote, that says, look, we believe the video game in the brain. We believe you when you say that you were born in the wrong body somehow in this weird mystical kind of way. That you haven't confirmed by any kind of testing to demonstrate that that's even possible. But that we're going to affirm you, affirm the cuckoo, and we're going to slice and dice the crotch. And we're going to transform you. We're going to transform you into something that you believe in your brain you are. And the idea is that if they do that, that will reduce the need for transgender identifying people, the need for them to seek after, or to even need at all, mental health services. Come to find out, doesn't work. A major correction has been issued by the American Journal of Psychiatry. The authors and editors of an October 2019 study titled Reduction in Mental Health Treatment Utilization Among Transgender Individuals After Gender-Affirming Surgeries, a total population study, have retracted its primary conclusion. Oh. Yeah, that's central. It's primary one. Okay, well, letters to the editor by 12 authors, including those involved with the public discourse, led to a reanalysis of the data and a corrected conclusion stating that, in fact, the data showed no improvement after surgical treatment. Think about that. They go through the background of it, and they break down why that's the case. And why these studies done by these gender studies. And you could say the same exact thing about race studies and ethnic studies, all that crap, right? Anything that's involved with critical studies, anything that's rooted in that nonsense, you can go to their peer-reviewed literature, and it's a big fat pile of manure, right? It's worse than that. It's like a massive mound of cat crap. If your kids did not clean up cat ladies' poop for like 50 years, that's what you get. It's bad. Smells to high heaven. It's the worst. And you can find more about that, of course, at newdiscourses.com. It's one of my favorite websites. So, all right, we're going to go now, before we wrap up for the day. We always talk memes. Okay? We always talk memes. And I figured that this would actually be a lot of fun. Because I didn't want to, we talk about super serious topics. Again, I want to thank you for bearing with me. In fact, even through the book. And if you say, well, look, Jeremiah, I don't really like the book. That's why you need it. I'm basically the Maynard, the Maynard from Tool and Perfect Circle in the podcast world. I'm not just here for your entertainment. I do hope you are entertained. This is kind of gladiator-esque in here. Right? It's serious work. I put heart and soul into it. I'm sweating like crazy. I'm giving it everything I got. At the same time, it's not like circus monkey stuff. We need to come out of this as better people. And we need to have a plan. We need to have something that says that we are able to move forward. So here's some memes. When you close your eyes for 5 seconds and open them to see it's been 5 hours. Yeah. I had this actually recently. It always happens when I tell my family, oh yeah, I'm going to take a nap for 15 minutes. An hour and a half later. We tried waking you up a lot, Papa. And by the way, that guy on YouTube who's been coming at me on the whole Papa thing. The end of yesterday's show, I showed a meme. Well, not a meme. It's just a screenshot of an interaction I had with a guy who apparently is like the president of some very small and insignificant group of people who kind of are policing the way that parents are referred to by their children in America. And if you're referred to as Papa, that right there, that's something old from Europe. No modern American does that. Right? I could understand why some cultural person from East Europe might do that. Papa, but not a modern American person. Yeah, it's funny because I engaged with him yesterday. Again, one more time. I said, I'm not even going to respond to this guy. The guy's a kook. He has like 1 follower, no videos. He's obviously a loon tune, right? Might not even believe what he's saying, trying to get a good reaction out of people. But I don't mind doing that to an extent. But I thought about it and said, this guy, he actually would believe something that makes his, like, people in modern America. You want to talk about what modern Americans do or believe? Modern Americans don't complain about somebody else's kids calling them papa. In fact, his group, I don't know, maybe he's got a 501c3. Maybe there's a political cause. They're like, we're trying to get it on a ballot. But they would have even less people, dramatically less people, than modern American men whose children lovingly refer to them as papa, like mine. Yeah. All right. Multiculturalism, naturalism, or nationalism. Yeah. You can't truly call yourself peaceful unless you're capable of great violence. If you're not capable of violence, you're not peaceful, you're harmless. An important distinction. All your virtue signaling won't save you. Look at that. This is true. I think this is maybe one of the things that I don't entirely agree. I understand what Neil Postman is saying, but I think that memes like this, while being short, I think that they provide more context than he may admit. We all know what this means. Bradford Community Church, Unitarian Universalist, Black Lives Matter, and it's on fire. In a Black Lives Matter riot. Let a man never stir on his road, a step without weapons of war. For unsure is the knowing when need shall arise of a spear on the way without. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this right here, check this out. We talked about a situation in Kalamazoo. We talked about a situation where counter-protesters and a certain pastor were making outrageous claims and that the media bought into it, sucking up the Kool-Aid like it's going out of style, only to a couple weeks later to be completely owned by documentary evidence in slow motion. And now, WWMT's Andy Dominiani. Dominiani? Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Kalamazoo church pastor Nathan Dannison will be removed from the Kalamazoo Public Safety Review Board after stating publicly that the members of the Proud Boys attacked counter-protesters in August. Yeah. Kalamazoo City Manager Jim Ritzma says tonight, recent events along with actions and words by Pastor Dannison have led me to conclude he impartial and serve without bias. Oh yeah, man. Totally 100%. This was considered comically obese in 1990. Yeah, it's true. It is true. What's this thing? Dude, look at that dog's butt. Oh my gosh. That's got to be what it is. That has to be. Look at that thing. It's like the manliest dog. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Oh no. Is that? I was so distracted by the pants. Yes. Okay. She's wearing pants. It doesn't look like it, but she is. Those are just very poorly selected clothing. Very, very poorly selected. I was so distracted by the pants, I didn't notice the 186-month-old baby in the cart. Oh my gosh. Dude, look. Look at that. Oh my gosh, dude. Let's make this thing better. I need to know what this is. I'd rather be speaking German. Oh, dude. Okay. Yeah, I see why. Yeah. That's a thing. Oh, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. Democrats with the time machine. I'm your granddaughter. Really? Yeah. George Floyd swallowed a deadly amount of fentanyl. Put him in the back of the cop car, and he will die of natural death. But don't put your knee on him. You will regret it. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I like those memes like that. And see, this is one of the reasons why Black Lives Matter is falling apart. I mean, look at this. These people, it's obviously just a cult. You know it's a cult because right there is like the one black guy in the group. And he's kind of looking around. He's even got shades on. See that? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this. I don't know if I want to go that way. White people are recessive genetic defects. Subhuman. Yeah, but see, that's what they believe. That's that whole Nick Cannon crap. Black people can literally wipe out the white race if we had the power to. Okay. Yeah. You could do it if you could do it. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, they will not erase us. I like this. Me and my homies would have been stacking bodies by now. He would have, wouldn't he? He would have. Yeah, okay, Adam Heikela. Adam Heikela in the comments says, it was part her elbow, not all dog. I know this. Are you sure, man? Are you sure it wasn't his butt? You sure he hasn't been doing that? Wait, what was the old one, man? Not glutes of iron. What was it? Legs of steel. What? I'm getting it mixed up, man, with blades of steel. Probably the same era. What was that? Is it Suzanne Summers? Let me see this one. What's this one say? Disorder in the society is the result of disorder in the family. Totally 100%. Sir Elizabeth Ann Seton. We can see this, by the way. In stuff to do with the issues, for example, that a lot of the complaints of Black Lives Matter, to be very frank. Parents matter. Culture matters. Religion and worldviews matter. That's not to say that there's not problems of injustice. It's just simply to say, you know, there are things that people can do that are not entirely outside their control. But if their worldview says, it's all coming against me, there ain't jack I can do, and it's some phantom menace as a system, good luck. Yeah, it's like there's a video where this person is saying there are a person who identifies as LGBT cannot be all 5 of these things. And it's like a challenge where people walk up to the camera and they're looking and they put up their hand for 5 and then they count down and they go down. So number 5 is like, you know, they're happy in life and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I can do that. And then they said, has a good relationship with their father. And every one of them, dude, their faces, you can see they're like, oh, and they turn it off. They're mad. That's a real problem. Pretty common, actually. Feminism is the idea that women are free when they serve their employers, but slaves when they serve their husbands and children. Dude, that is so true. Actually, Billy, Mommy and Daddy watch these debates to get a feel for how many months' worth of canned goods and ammunition we should be stocking in the cellar. It's true. I've been telling everybody, man, it's time to get it because it's coming. It's already here. It's already here, man. Oh, buns of steel. Yeah, thank you, Adam, for that in the comments. Yeah, buns of steel, man. How'd you remember that, dude? Now I'm worried about you. You knew the truth about the dog butt, and now you know the truth about buns of steel, dude. What's up, bro? You know I love you, man. We got to get together for real. Me and you. Right? We need to deal, dude. We need that. We need to collude. A lot of big things. Defend what you love. Don't you love that picture? Look at that. So powerful. That is so powerful, man. Who's this person? Bernadine Bluntly? It's okay if your dream in life is to be a good wife and mother. I hope that the ladies who watch this, and we're we'll have an episode for the ladies. We'll have them maybe once a week, right? For the ladies. Okay. But, I hope that they know this is true. Don't quit your daydream. Oh, that man, if you're not following Bernadine Bluntly, man, these are pretty good. I feel like that's America right now. I feel like that's Lady Liberty. Do you see it? Do you see what I see? That almost makes me cry, man. This almost makes me cry. Beauty is vanishing from our world because we live as though it did not matter. Roger Scruton. Look at the beauty in this art. Just stunning. Don't you miss this? Do you miss this? Do you remember? Push escape to go back. Push escape to go back. Man, I'm sorry. I love beauty. I love how God made us. Oh, and he did not make us like that. You sickos. Oh, make sure to send your memes, of course, to Jeremiah.Bannister on Facebook or on Twitter at Paleocrat, or, of course, at the email at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. That is terrible. You are sick. And then this, dude, really? Only a couple more minutes, man. We're done with this. Actually, you know what? I'll save some of these because these are good. We'll end off with the Red Ranger. I'm thinking as I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, it might actually be a fun movie. Like, is this possible? Do you believe that Hollywood could make a movie? Do you think it's possible that would be compelling, convincing, and compelling with somebody shaped like that in that costume, doing all of the things that the Power Rangers do? If they could, I mean, like a high kick might be like a low kick a little. They might need to do a lot more rolls or like ground techniques. But you know what I mean, right? Or just computer animation. Just CGI that bad boy, man. Make him Bruce Lee straight up. But do you think it's possible that could be like a movie that's really profound and that would really, really make a difference? All right. Well, everybody, I thank you very, very much for joining us. It's been a great day. I'm going to be back tomorrow with another great show. And we're going to figure it out. We'll have post-debate analysis, okay? We're going to talk about solutions, trying to make the world better so that we're not just simply talking about the negative, because I don't want to do that, man. And I'm going to try to keep it calm, because you can hear. I'm going to end up sounding like Alex Jones by the end of this. I'll be real gravelly. Every day. I'm going to sound like, which one did that on Batman? Which one was that? I'm Batman. That thing. I'm going to have that normally. And I'll delay that as long as I can. I don't mind being like the 80-year-old guy chewing on an unlit cigar, talking like this. I don't mind being that guy. I'm retired and stuff, doing cool interviews or whatnot, but not this. Okay. So we'll have a fun time. Make sure to share it with your friends. Share it on Facebook. This is the number one thing you can do. Okay. Of course, I would love it if you went to paleocratdiaries.com, became a member, subscribe to the page. That way you got updates about what's going on, including when the book is published, and books plural. Okay. In fact, I'm going through these today. I'm published in these. I won an award for this one. I won lots of money for my poetry and prose and speculative fiction in that. And so going through those, putting it together, might even do the poetry one, may do the poetry one for subscribers, okay? And we'll make it so that if you subscribe or a member, I'm so sorry, if you're a member and a certain period of time, so let's say if the book is $10, as long as you're a member for a minimum of 2 months, you'd go ahead and you get it. So it's in the works. There's a lot of stuff in the works, but make sure, go to paleocratdiaries.com, share these videos, It's easy to do. And if you want to collaborate with me and you want me to share your stuff, talk to me. Hit me up at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And of course, make sure to check out Paleo Cheese Podcast, The Meaning of Catholic, and every day now, you can go over to Holy Faith TV for a news update, and I will be doing a lot of those. And it's just hard news, so it sounds kind of, it's got music and it's kind of intense, and it's just like a 2 or 3 minute news update as a voiceover, so you don't see me or anything like that. It's a very serious thing, and we're promoting groups like LifeSite News and stuff like that. So, all right, until tomorrow, everybody, I hope you have a great day. And remember, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.